This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
It's like, hello?
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Think, McFly. Think.
Sorry about that. I was having what turned out to be a long, drawn-out conversation with the tasteless box of mashed potatoes just in guard. We were talking about the Masters, and the first thing he said is, that's over. Let's move on to something else. But I continued to prompt him to want to talk about it. And we brought up about all the weight on McIlroy's shoulder, the way he broke down. I mean, he was chest heaving. You saw that, didn't you?
Yes.
I mean, just chest heaving. And I looked at JG and I said, I bet that's exactly how you felt when you won your second Minnesota Boys State High School. And you know what he said? I'm glad you said it and I didn't. So he was feeling that exact same thing. He knows what it's like to be a champion. Tim, did you ever win a championship at anything? Individual or organized sports? Even if it was like a league championship, anything?
When I was 12, my team won the state tournament in baseball.
Really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the air before.
I don't remember.
I know.
I barely remember. You were 12 years old?
Yes.
Osseo Maple Grove?
Osseo Maple Grove, yeah.
Any highlights from it for you personally? Were you instrumental in any specific game or instance? Or
I actually had a low light in the championship game. I missed a fly ball out in the outfield in the last inning. So
not good.
Thankfully, well, I didn't play most of the game because all you had to do was get into the championship to get to nationals. Okay. So now some of the kids that hadn't been playing as much, they got the opportunity to play. So I sat until the last inning when we had to secure the lead, and I had a ball fly over my head. Was not too happy about that. But luckily, Ryan Krutzig was the pitcher, and he bailed me out big time.
Let's say Ryan Krutzig doesn't bail you out. Where do you think you are today? Do you think it's still with you to this day? Do you think it would have changed? Why do people call me when I'm on the air? They know when I work.
You don't need to throw your phone.
Well, I got Otter on it.
Well, still.
I got the Otter box on it. Can you still hear it?
Yes.
I can too. Pete texted me, Baby Brother Peter texted me during the Masters. He said, I keep thinking I hear your phone ringing. Because he was watching the Masters, and he kept thinking my phone, and then he would realize he's not there. I recanted this tale before, both of these. There's two times for me. There was it was just a one event, one heat when I won the blue ribbon sack race, 6th grade Adams School track and field day. The other time I won a championship, Tennessee, was when Paul Charchian invited me into his fantasy football league, and I beat everybody, and everybody hated me. I'll just give you the short version. They're trading during the draft. I'd never seen them. When I played with my buddies, we would just do the draft. There'd be no trades. We'd go home. We'd make a few moves. Rarely did we do trades during the season. We'd pick up guys in the waiver wire, but we just, I guess, weren't as into it or weren't as savvy, just didn't understand fantasy football the way it was played. And then season starts, and about 5-6 weeks in, Charge calls me and says, guys are kind of wondering why you don't make any trades. A couple of guys have offered you some deals. And I go, well, I'm 7-0. I kind of like my record.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And get another call. I'm 12-0. Things are going pretty well. I kind of like the club I've got right now. And, and I was getting those trades. You know the trades that you get.
Oh, yeah. The one-sided.
Yeah, where they the same kind of trade ideas we get when it gets near trade deadline for any of the leagues that we follow here on the Fan. And then listeners will suggest these absurd trades that heavily favor their favorite team. They actually think the other team's going to go for it. Yeah, it sounds good to me. Really? And it just doesn't work that way. And then I think I told you, ironically, if I'm using the word correctly.
You can ask Royce about that.
I felt like I better make a trade here. Everybody's going to hate me. And so I traded Barry Sanders and assorted other players for Jerry Rice and assorted other players. And Rice ended up in the championship game getting 4 tutties for me. And I won the championship. They had to invite me back for the next year, and I think I finished 500. I never got an invite back because I didn't play like the rest of those guys. It was like, I was taking my ball and going home. Well, that's just the way I was. I had a great draft, obviously, right? Did everything I was supposed to do, and I did it. I did it real well. Now I need my phone. Hold on. Because I've got a couple of stories here. These are NBA stories, tend to be. And I know where, you're a hockey community. I'm Gadfly community, so I don't know how these work, but I saw 2 stories that I thought were interesting. First of all, and by the way, this is from Friday. So this has already happened, and we should probably just move on. But headline on AP says, Joker wraps up triple-double average for the season, 3rd NBA player to achieve that feat. That's similar to winning the career Grand Slam and the Masters, right? Dateline Denver, Nikola Jokic. Now I turned into Rosen. Sometimes I say Jokic, sometimes
it is confusing because it's the Joker, but it's Jokic.
Well, I like to say them both ways. Just depends how I feel.
It's kind of like you call him Tibbs, but it's Thibodeau.
Yeah, exactly. These are the things that keep you and I up at night. Joker will average a triple-double for the season, making the Denver Star the 3rd player in NBA history to pull off such a feat. It became statistically certain Friday night when Joker got his 4th assist of Denver's game against the Grizz. That assist was his 700th of the season, assuring him of averaging no worse than 10 assists for 70 games. The other players to average a triple-double for a full season, Russ Westbrook, Joker's current Denver teammate and Basketball Hall of Famer, Big O, Oscar Robertson. Westbrook did it 4. I didn't even realize, this is how little I pay attention. I didn't even know he did it once. This story says he did it 4 times. 2016, 2017. 2017, 2018, 2018, 2019 for OKC, and again, 2020, 2021 for Washington. Robertson did it in the 61-62 season for Cincinnati. Joker said, I wish I could do the accent. It's nice. I didn't do that before. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's good. I don't think he had the same reaction Rory did, though, even though they're both pretty historic. I don't think he broke down and chest heaved. He's won 3 of the last 4 NBA MVP awards and is the top candidate for this honor again. Do you think, by the way, he has more triple-doubles this season than any of the 3 players in the league combined. No other NBA player else entered Friday with more than 10 this season. Interim coach David Adelman, because they fired their head coach a couple of days ago, Moses Malone, says if he doesn't...
Undefeated since they fired him.
Think about it.
Yeah, they're 3-0, I believe.
If he doesn't win the MVP, it's the greatest season of all time not to win it. And, that will be... look, is the MVP decided? Is that a media thing? Is it a league thing?
I think it's, media.
A media thing. Okay. SGA has had a hell of a season from what they tell me, right? And do you think there becomes Joker fatigue? You know what? Again, he's won. If it says the Serbian star, he has won 3 of the last 4 NBA MVP awards and is the top candidate for that honor again this season, along with SGA of Oklahoma City. Do you think that there will be some media members that go, enough is enough for the Serbs?
Joker fatigue.
Yeah, Joker fatigue.
Yeah.
He's had enough. Let's give it to SGA.
100%.
And I know you're not paying as close attention to the NBA as you once did, or SGA's career or Joker's career. But if you average a triple-double, how can you not be the MVP?
It's not like the team's not in the playoffs.
Right. Of course,
They got the 4 seed.
Oklahoma City's got 70-plus wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
And SGA is the main reason why,
Yeah.
so...
He won't win it. He'll get votes.
Who do you think will
I'm
win
saying
it?
Joker won't win it.
You're right. I think you're
Because
right.
I think it is a combination of Joker fatigue and because there's one team that was just superior. And you can even argue Cleveland and Boston in terms of record-wise.
Sure.
Just superior over Denver's. Heck, Denver's season was so disappointing they fired their coach and GM. So
Yeah.
that's all going to go against the Joker, though. He probably did have a better season than anybody else in the league.
I would tell you, I'd be willing to guess Joker doesn't even care. He doesn't seem to care about much of anything,
No.
does he? I've never seen him more. And I kind of, I like understated more than the over-the-top celebration guys. That's like, DeChambeau is fun to watch. DeChambeau. How do you like to say it? How should we say it today?
Bryson DeChambeau.
And then there's DeChambeau. There's 2 different ways to say it. Let's say it. Bryson DeChambeau. He's the kids love him. The crowds love him. He's one of those guys that fires everybody up. Someone said, with your logic, Westbrook should have gotten the MVP all 4 years he did it. Then he should have. Yeah, absolutely. He should have been the 4-time MVP. How are you not? Isn't averaging a triple-double to me just seems like that's like the Triple Crown in baseball. Triple Crown for pitching. Anybody who gets the Triple Crown in baseball is going to be the MVP. It's just the way it is. It's a slam dunk. Same with pitching. Like Scooble did last year. Yeah, Russell Westbrook should be a 4-time MVP if he's not, and he should be. And I'm going to remember when they took away whose Heisman did they take away and then give back?
Reggie Bush.
Did they take it away and then give it back to him, or is it
They
the
just
opposite?
recently gave it back to him, I think.
Then they should go back to those 4 years and give it to Russell Westbrook all 4 years if they haven't done so already. I'm demanding it. Tennessee, as we go to break, I think it's back thanks to our friends at BigDeck.com. It's the National Cash Contest. What you got?
Yeah, the fan and BigDeck.com wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our National Cash Contest. Enter the keyword GRAND at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. The keyword is GRAND. Enter now at KFAN.com.
That sounds like a heck of a concert. I might want to show up with some friends.
So, I've been married to my first wife since 1999. My first wife. My second wife hasn't been born yet. We have 2 children created from my loins, Deuce and baby brother Peter. Deuce, my eldest, goes to Nebraska. Tennessee, I think you're aware that he plays 4v4 flag football.
Yeah.
Had their first game at the Vine Street Fields on April 10th. And they had a late start. It was like I think he said it was like a 9:30, 10 o'clock start at the Vine Street Fields. Here's his recap. He said, the fellas came out flat tonight. Lots of drops in the first half and some defensive mistakes. At halftime, the score was 24-22 in our favor. We started the half on defense with a great stop. The next drive, I caught a pass on a hitch route en route to a Dome Crew touchdown. Later in the game, we were up by 1 possession. I put the nail in the coffin. I faked right and went for the back left corner. The ball came to me at an awkward angle. I tried to catch it with both hands, but it bounced around. So the only thing I could do was Odell it. That's what we call a one-handed catch at 13, 14.
I always love that one.
I pressed the ball to my right shoulder with my right hand and held on as I tumbled to the ground for a tutty. We got the 1-point conversion after that. Game over. So Deuce, Odell's it. Game MVP. They win their 1-0 at Vine Street Fields. Then he called me Saturday and said, he goes, I think you'll find this funny. I go, what's that? He goes, I called Augusta National and asked them if they had any tee times available.
I saw that on social media. I wonder if that was like a running bit with all the kids.
Oh, is that what they were? Yeah. So he must have done it as well. So a lot of kids were doing it. And the guy said, sir, this is a private golf course by invitation only. I do it when anytime I'm offered up the chance to play a private club with a friend. I love walking into the pro shop and a young kid behind the desk and go, yeah, I was just driving by. Looks like a really nice golf course. Wonder if you got room for a single today. And it's always that look on the kid's face where it's like, oh boy, here we go again. And then I have to say, no, I'm playing with Mr. Molesky today or whoever it is I'm playing with. But yeah, at first they get that look on their face like, how do I explain to this guy? This is a private club. We don't take tee times. There are no walk-ons. It's just a beautiful thing. I got more NBA to get to. Tend to be some controversial NBA notes, including some texts from people. I think the basketball community is coming out in force today. We got a phone call, though, from Warren out in St. Paul. Warren, what's up?
Hey, I agree with you 100% on the Rodgers situation. It's a no-lose situation for the Vikings. But here I got a question for you.
Okay.
If you have the opportunity in this draft, say Rodgers isn't coming here, and you look at everybody that was available, would you take the best possible quarterback in the draft in your fourth position? Here's what I believe, what I see. The quarterbacks are better this year than people give them credit for. I think there's going to be some fourth round to late round draft choices that are going to be very good. I believe that the Steelers are going to draft a quarterback in the first round. And that's why I've been saying they should trade for the offensive lineman, Troy Fontenot.
Right.
Which would be their best move. So this is what I see happening. You're going to see some of these late round quarterbacks perform really well on certain teams that need the help. There is no way that the Vikings, if they could sign Rodgers, tell me one reason why, that wouldn't be a good move, because if he's a pro like everybody says he is, knows where he's at, I don't think that'll be a problem here. If you looked at the way he played this last year, majority of the time that he played really bad, the offensive line gave him no help. I think he was injured when he got hit in the Vikings game. I think he got injured in that game, and I think that during the season didn't agree with the play calls, and it made it worse. I think that he wasn't 100% healthy, but that would be a way for the Vikings to get a better chance, because you were right, signing all these veteran players like they did. I think they're all in.
Yeah,
for a veteran quarterback to come in. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I think so. Thanks, Warren. I appreciate that. I think they are. I think there's already a handshake agreement with Rodgers, and I made this. I know it's controversial. Some people say it's
interesting.
Some people say it's cockamamie. Some people think it's crazy, and some people think I'm just trying to prop up sagging ratings. But I do believe that there's already an agreement between the head coach and Aaron Rodgers. And it's like, because I think to me it's like, well, we like our young kid, but he wouldn't be the first youngster to ride 2 or 3 years on the pine. See Aaron Rodgers, he did the same thing, but behind Favre. See Jordan Love, who sat 3 years behind Aaron Rodgers. So it does happen, and he's only 22. He's a very young kid, and it's like, hey, what the hell we got? Hey, it's a moment in time. It's maybe it's the age of Aquarius. Moon's in the 7th house, Jupiter lines with Mars. We have a lot of great players, and there's a Hall of Fame quarterback and looking for a home. Maybe he's got one more great year. And like I say, there's little risk, I think. I think there's so little risk to it. You sign him, he comes in, he's your starting quarterback, you tell the kid, You tell McCarthy, kid, you'll get your chance. Just be patient. Maybe you'll learn something. And you look at him and say, he might be awful, and then you're in after week 3, And that's what would happen. So you play. What if Rodgers is brilliant? What if he becomes the comeback player of the year, and all of a sudden he's playing like he did in his prime? Could he have that in him? I don't know. I understand all the drawbacks. The what do they call them? Prima donnas, divas, belladonnas, whatever they call them. I do like this text. I noticed the same thing. Says he's quoting Warren. I got a question for you. Then Warren proceeds to answer his own question, which is what he did. Well, first he does the old, I agree with you on the Rodgers thing. So then I'm like, oh, Warren's on my side. I'll let him go for it.
Get on the edge of your seat a little bit. Yeah.
And he knows it. And, so I'm like, Warren knows how to work it. I get it. He's good at it. As far as, look, if you don't get the backup you want as a veteran, there aren't many left. You and I have talked about this, though, tend to be, and I think you sort of kind of agree with me. If you've got to go to your backup quarterback, most teams are done anyways, right? I mean, it's just, unless your defense is so good and you got a lot of playmakers on offense and a great line, your backup's not going to do you much of anything. I don't know if, with only 4 draft picks, unless we accumulate more by trading back, which I think is a distinct possibility for the Vikings, do you really want to use your draft pick on a quarterback when you already think you've got your future quarterback, and now are you going to draft a backup quarterback, and then he's not going to have any experience, and so if you put him in, if I want a backup quarterback, I don't think I want a rookie. I'd much rather have a guy that's at least there. You're
not doing a rookie backup with a second-year starter that's not even ever played.
Yeah, that's what I don't think.
It's not gonna make.
No, it doesn't make.
Maybe get one of those undrafted free agents to come in and be your third quarterback or something like that. But yeah,
but like even in Detroit, they've got the is it Hendon Hooker?
Yeah,
and I don't know what to think of him. I don't think he was wasn't he a 3rd round draft pick? So I think there were people that thought he could be pretty good, but he hasn't had a chance to play at all in Detroit, and he's just sitting on the bench. And I don't know if there'd be. I don't know if you're Detroit, if you're just kind of waiting, because Goff is Goff. If he's off, he's not any good. If he's on, he's pretty good. And, how far are you going to take the Goff thing? And then do you think Hendon Hooker?
I think the fact that they went to Bridgewater late in the year last year is pretty telling on what they think about Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, I think you might be right. So
the year before that, he was coming out. When he was drafted, he was coming off the injury. They knew he wasn't going to be ready right away. But now we're to the point where he should be healthy and ready to go. And if you're still getting Teddy Bridgewater off the street, who's just been coaching high school football all season, that's not a good sign for Hendon Hooker. He'll be out of the league in 2 years.
2 quick text messages. The one says, the way Warren asks you a question and without taking a breath moves on to his next topic is priceless. I agree. And then there's, Warren sounds a lot like PA. Ask your opinion, then don't let you give it. Nobody likes the sound of their own voice more than PA. Well, trust me. He's got plenty of room there with the people on this radio station, including the guy flapping his lips right now. We'll pause and come back. Got a couple of other NBA notes. I want to dive deep into the state of hockey here in the state of Minnesota. We'll do all of that. Last segment of the day coming up next. Common Man program on the Fan.
Like a heck of a concert. I might want to show up with some friends.
Ted, we've got a question for you. There are those who would compare Cam Ward's playing style to Pat Mahomes. Is that what do you ask me in 534? Is that preposterous?
Profound or preposterous?
Do you think that's profound or preposterous?
I would say more on preposterous.
Yeah.
The Caleb Williams comparisons last year made sense just because some of the He did kind of look at him or look like him at times, the way he'd change his angles and extend the play, and he had a little bit of that in him.
I've got an old, well, all I tell is old jokes, but an old golf country club gambling kind of a joke tend to be, and it's going to lead to something here, so bear with me.
Okay.
It's been, this might not even be real. I just think it's kind of been just used, like I say, as an example for gambling and betting and golf and such like that. So there's a Posh and Tony country club in town, right? A lot of wealthy people. Young kid joins the club, right? Big downstroke, like Mark Rosen joining over Golden Valley, right? So he joined some of the older guys, some of the older members in a foursome. And the younger guy goes, so you guys got a little game going here this afternoon? And one of the old guy goes, yeah, we do a little 2-2-2 Nassau here. And he goes, what do you mean by 2-2-2? Well, $2, $2, $2. He goes, oh, come on, man, we're all making good money here. Why don't we go like 2,000, 2,000, 2,000? And the one guy says, well, we've kind of been doing this game for a long time. We just kind of do a 2-2-2. He goes, oh, come on, we're off. Oh, come on, let's make it worse. Let's make us sweat a little bit. He goes, let me ask you a question. You're working over there at General Mills now, right? Yeah. He goes, and you're making what, about $450,000 a year? The kid goes, yeah. He goes, I'll flip you for the $400,000, but we play a 2-2-2 here, right? Brilliant, genius, right? In other words, it's not about the money; it's about the game. The reason I bring it up, it's Rosen trying to goad me into betting. I want to do a little $2 bet on the Masters.
Yeah,
just hey, I'd like to do a little $2 bet. Oh, $2? I mean, come on. So I go, well, what do you want to go? And then we decide on $20, and now he's.
He owes you $20.
He owes me $20. I try to make it easy on him. I tried to just say a little $2 Nassau, but he wanted to go 20. Okay. I tried to save him the money. I tried to save him from embarrassment. I'm the official, unofficial ambassador to Minnesota Golf. I know the Masters. I know who wins, why they win, and this, that, and that, but he didn't want to do that. Several text messages have come in regarding some of our NBA conversation earlier. This one says, take Joker off of Denver, and they don't make the playoffs, let alone home court. SGA off OKC, they're still a top 3 team. Feels like the easiest way to determine value. We were talking about Joker as of Friday, locked in, averaging a triple-double for the season. It's only been done by 2 other players. I guess Russ Westbrook did it 4 different times, which I was not aware of. Big O Oscar Robertson was the first to do it. And so that's why that conversation came up. And, there's another one that is similar to that says, here it is. Newsflash, MVP is a single player award, not a team award. So who cares if OKC has the best record? Well, it can influence how you vote for an MVP. I know it's an individual award, but very rarely do you see an MVP come off a 500 club. Just don't see it very often because, I guess, in that case, if he did come out, let's say the MVP comes off an average team, the guy had to have been so good, right, that it's like, well, the team would have probably had to been disbanded and folded if he didn't play on the club. So because you're so good, you help lift your team to a spot that they wouldn't come close to if he wasn't on the club. Now, the other one saying, take Joker off them, they don't make the playoffs, which is probably true. And without SGA, is OKC still a top 3 team? I don't know. I can't answer that for sure. But I know what he's saying. See, sure. I tend to agree how you affect.
You also shouldn't punish SGA, though, because his teammates are better, right?
That's true. That's true. That is correct. And maybe he's making his teammates better, too. Maybe
sometimes the bad teams. Now, it's not the case with Joker, right? He's established himself as maybe the best player in the world. But generally speaking, the bad teams, your best players can pad the stats a little bit more because they're going through that player even more so.
Correct.
Right? There's not as many options. So you can make those arguments all day long.
Here's another one that says, Westbrook only won the MVP award the first season he averaged a triple-double. That was in 2016-2017. In 17-18, he finished 5th in the voting. In 18-19, he finished 10th. In his 4th and final triple-double season, 2020-2021, he finished 11th. Talk about voter fatigue right there. And that does sound like voter fatigue to me. I mean, how can you be 11th if you're averaging a triple-double? I just don't know how that can be. But, again, there's a lot of, different people. We just talked about the different criteria, what people how people judge things. LaBelle to this day gets grief because he didn't give was it Martinez?
Yes.
He didn't give him the MVP award because pitchers already have an award, the Cy Young. So why would I give him the MVP was, I think, sort of kind of LaBelle's logic. And I guess I understand that, but I would still say if a guy has a season that is, like you go back to, can you look back and see who won the MVP award in 1968 in the American League and the National League? And then who won the Cy Young Awards? Because I bet in the American League, Denny McLain won both, I bet. He won 31 games that year, the last pitcher to win 31 games, and no one will ever win 31 games again. They don't use pitchers like that anymore. And Bob Gibson had I don't remember what his record was. It was 20-something and handful of losses, and he had an ERA of 1.12. That's for an entire year. That's not for one start, not for a couple of starts. That's for the entire season. A 1.12 ERA. Now, full disclosure, after that season, they lowered the mound. The mound used to look like Kilimanjaro. You had really good pitchers throwing from way up high or throwing down at the hitters. It made it much more difficult to...
Pitchers won both, yeah.
Yeah.
Denny McLain won the AL MVP and the Cy Young. Yep. Bob Gibson won the NL MVP and the Cy Young.
Yeah, so it's happened. Close circuit to L.E. Neal. It's happened before. When you're that dominant, as McLain was, 31-6 was his record, I think. And
yes, 31-6.
And I don't
with
know.
a 1.96 ERA. Yeah. How about Gibson?
1.12.
1.12 ERA. 22-9.
22-9.
He started 7 less games.
Yeah.
He had 13 shutouts.
Yeah. Well, and 13. Think about 13 complete game shutouts. And there was one stretch, maybe it was during that 13. He had I don't know if it was a 10-game stretch where I think he won every game and only gave up 13, 14 hits.
How about Gibson and McLain that year? Both had 28 complete games. A pitcher now won't get 28 in their career.
No, not even close.
Like your best pitchers.
Never.
Your aces won't even get it in a career.
Never. When a pitcher gets a complete game nowadays, it was just last season or the season before. I don't remember which pitcher it was, but one of the legendary ones. He had his first complete game ever, and they made a big deal about it. Well, he finally pitched a complete game. That's just not the way they did it.
Some big names in the NFL, in the NL MVP voting, by the way. Pete Rose was 2, Willie McCovey, Lou Brock, Hank Aaron, Ernie Banks, Willie Mays.
Those are the days, tend to be.
Johnny Bench was a rookie that year, and he was up there.
Common Big O didn't win the MVP when he averaged a triple-double. Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain averaged 50 a game that year. He didn't either. They gave it to Bill Russell. Well, what did Bill Russell do that year? Big O, the first player in NBA history to average a triple-double. He doesn't get the MVP award. Wilt averaged 50 a game that year, and he didn't get the MVP award. They gave it to Bill Russell. The hell did Bill Russell do that year?
What year?
I don't know. 1962, was it? Was it 61, 62? When Big O, triple-double, Big O. I can look it up. I just read the story about, it was in the Joker story about his triple-double. Got it right here. It was the Oscar Robertson did in the 61-62 season. 61-62. What the hell did Bill Russell do? I mean,
he didn't do that much. So it was, clearly the team, whatever team was the best, they would take a player off of that. Because he averaged 18.9 points. He did have 23.6 rebounds per game. I guess that's why. And then 4.5 assists. He was a rebound machine, man.
Wilt averaged 50 a game, and Big O got I think there's a conspiracy there. I'd have to ask LaBelle. He would probably know what happened there. He knows controversy when it comes to voting. And then there's this one, Tenneby, and this raises some interesting issues. This one says, I was watching a random ESPN bit recently, and oh no, that's not the one I wanted.
Wilt averaged 50.4 points, 25.7 rebounds a game, and took second.
Well, how did he take second?
It had to have been just his team wasn't as good. There's no other explanation. Now I got to find the NBA standings that year.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, how does that make any sense? Where was the other one?
So Boston was 60-20, and Philadelphia was 49-31.
Oh, well, here it is. This is from Oldsmobile guy. It says common. It's interesting to hear the juxtaposition. What is the juxtaposition? Is that like a safety, or is that a monster back, or what position is that? It's interesting. It's interesting to hear the juxtaposition between the local Duckies and Bunnies and the four-letter network on the Wolves-Lakers series. On first take, they seem to wonder why the Wolves are even bothering to show up. They're already talking about the Lakers' potential second-round matchup. Your thoughts? We like it that way. Doubt us at your own peril, right? We like flying under the radar. I think the Wolves have only themselves to blame. They've been very inconsistent this year, right? I mean, I would hope that the people on First Take on ESPN are paying closer attention to the NBA than I am. And that's that. I'm just supposed to talk about whatever comes in my head. They're supposed to talk sports, and NBA, and devour it all and understand it. And so, the Wolves, let's face it, I don't know, they're the 6th seed. They have a nice record. What is it? What did their record end up being? Did they win 54 games?
They're only one game shy of LA.
Or how many games did they win? Was it 49, 54? What number did they win? Only a game shy of LA. So they could have been as much as the 3rd seed, but they lost the tiebreakers, right? And
Wolves are 49-33.
Okay, so 49 and 43. That's a good record, but it's only 6 above 500.
No, it's 16.
16 above 500. And look. They've had games that have just been ugly against bad teams. Maybe the Lakers have just as many. I don't know. I think that's probably part of the reason. Plus, there is the fascination with LeBron and Doncic, and I understand it. I mean, there are those that would tell you LeBron is... There are some people that say he's the best player to ever play the game. Most people feel like it's Jordan, then maybe it's
Kobe.
And then, I don't know, could you say LeBron?
Looking at Wilt stats, I feel like he should be up there, but you know, game was a little different back then.
But you got LeBron, and he's been the face of the NBA for, I mean, others, I know Steph, I get it, but I mean, LeBron is as recognizable as anybody. And he's been as impactful. Does he have 4 titles? I think he's got 4. And then Doncic, he's all the rage. I know the trade and the rumors of...
Yeah, LeBron's got 4.
Yeah, I know the rumors of he doesn't work out. He likes to have a couple 13, 14 after games. Sure does play awful well, though, right? So when you put those two players together, one of the best players to ever play the game, who still seems to be playing at a relatively high level. I mean, he's not coming off the bench as a 6th man, for crying out loud. He's been scoring 25, 30. I think he's had a couple
last year in the Olympics for Team USA. Yeah. He was like the guy.
Yeah, I think he's had
him and Steph.
I think he's had several 40-point games this year. And that just because you have 40-point games, there's a lot of different ways to get to 40. Sometimes there's volume shooting. Sometimes you're playing a terrible team. Sometimes the other team's not trying. So I get it, but he's still a hell of a player. And I mean, everybody was appalled. How could Dallas even consider trading Luka Doncic? Did we decide we were going to go with Doncic today or Doncic? I can't remember. Doncic. Well, how could you dare trade him? He's the best offensive player in the league right now. Well, so you put those two guys together, and then you have what's that other guy's name? Reeve?
Austin Reeves.
And they're a third seed. I can see why there are people picking the LA Lakers to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't think it's a slap in the face at the Wolves. I think a lot of it does have to do with star power over in Los Angeles. And so I like it this way. Look past us. Ignore us.
Doubt us.
Doubt us all you want. We're starting to gel. It only took us 82 games, but we're starting to gel. Now, we've been stacking wins. We're gelling. And I think we're ready to face the Lakers on Saturday night, a 7:30 start. And not sure if you hear that game on the station or not. It all depends.
Well, yeah.
A lot depends on what the Wild is going to do. And again, the Wild, if they win or get 1 point in their final game tomorrow, they're in.
Yep.
If they were to lose, they could still get in, though, right? Because there's Calgary.
Yeah, they need Calgary to lose one of their last 2 games. Okay. They also play tomorrow night, and they play Thursday. They got, I think, Vegas tomorrow night, and they got the Kings on Thursday. And then St. Louis is a point behind the Wild. So as long as St. Louis won, because I think the Wild have the tiebreakers on both of them.
Okay.
So if St. Louis loses to Utah, the Wild are in.
Okay. And so...
But you just got to take care of business against Anaheim.
That's it. It's always better to not have to... it's the old... The NFL's the best. At the end of the year, they go, well, in order for this club to get in, they need to win and they need to have... And then they list 16 teams that have to either lose or tie or something like that. There's always some bizarre formula to get in. And so, just win and you'll get in. Do you think the rookie kid, the new defenseman, can he make any kind of a difference, or is it?
It's hard to know. I mean, that's a tough transition. Typically, guys like the Brock Faber was as rare as it gets, and even Faber when he came up, in that playoff series, after I think he only played 2 regular season games, he was getting third pairing minutes, right? They were taking it easy on him. Only playing 12, 13 minutes a game. He was not going out there against Dallas's top players. He wasn't going out there on defensive zone faceoffs. So I am curious now that this, because the Wild have to go into the Anaheim game thinking we have to win, because it's not like the other games will be played before then where they'll know whether they're in the playoffs or not. So they have to go into that playing to win. Now, Spurgeon's been out the last couple games, Middleton's been out the last couple of games. Spurgeon's been out. If those guys are healthy, I don't know if you can play Booyam. I think you just, you don't know what you got until you got him. But he's also good insurance if one of those guys can't go, because they are very thin at defense right now with all the injuries they have. And they were pretty lucky to escape Vancouver with 2 points, because the blue line they were throwing out. I mean, Brock Faber kind of in that third period kind of did a little bit of a Kirby Puckett and climb on my back and was out there playing a lot.
What time is the hockey game tomorrow night?
I believe it's 7.
7 o'clock. Any special programming? We're going to do an extra special... it's basically playoff edition already of Wild Hockey.
Well, yeah. Not that I know of.
How about you and I come in half hour early? Do a little Wild
before
today
noon tomorrow?
Yeah. No, I meant before the game.
You're breaking up.
I thought you'd say that. Get off and stay off today. We'll see what happens. That was fun today. Thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
I thought you were pretty special too. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. We do appreciate it. We're back again tomorrow at 12 noon, and then who can hardly wait, the legendary Mark Rosen will join us at just before 2 o'clock tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't touch that dial. Stick around. Big Ticket, JG, there next, right here on The Fan.
Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. And good night, Minnesota.
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.